Hello, dear friends. We have a couple things for you today on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast, including, what if I told you that it's bad now, but it's not going to last? I have reasons for optimism. Plus, who do you want to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Is it prime time for a coaching search? All that and more on today's Cowboys DLLS Podcast, which starts meow. Settle up, everybody. Welcome into the Cowboys DLLS Podcast. Today's date is November the 13th, the year 2024. I don't know why I did any of that. But welcome in. We got a bunch of Cowboys stuff for you today, and you're going to have a great time. Please hit the like and subscribe while you're here, and let's talk about how the bad times aren't going to last to start the show. My name is Jeff. His name's just Jesse. But but yeah, I know. But I was going to say his name is former, and that wouldn't make sense. But this is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Since he didn't use it yesterday,
yeah,
I'll use it today.
All right.
It's better to be old than cold.
Wow.
Yeah, because cold is dead.
Wow.
You know?
That's stealing. That's stealing. Straight up stealing.
Gave you an opportunity to use it yesterday, and you didn't do it.
No, he didn't. He just said he didn't credit me.
I did like this.
Yeah,
I did like this.
He said, because you didn't say it, but you were going to say it. This is one of the kindest men that I know next to Jesse. I do need your Venmo or something to send you $25. I got an extension and a 1/10 of a second added to the 40 run for next week. I had volleyball playoffs last night and tonight. I couldn't hurt myself yesterday. Couldn't run yet. So I bought a 1/10 of a second. I just got to get under 5 seconds, run it next week, and I bought an extension for $25 from the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Clarence Hill.
You want to win? Put pop up. Chill.
He can't. Oh, poor Clarence.
Hey, breaking news.
Yeah.
Black people don't Venmo. We use Cash App.
Don't put that on black people. That's not true. I'm just telling you that's not true.
That's true.
No, it's not.
No, I use Venmo.
Most of us. I'm just trying to tell you.
Can I tell you what tax is happening right now?
Cash App or Zelle?
Can I tell you?
Cash App or Zelle?
I'll Zelle you.
Zelle me.
Because honestly,
it's like we shop at Ross.
Cash App.
We shop at Ross is rather than Target.
Yeah, Cash App is Walmart.
It is.
And Venmo is super Target.
I got you. I don't disagree. I'm just telling you.
And I don't appreciate you trying to put all black people.
I'm just telling you.
What do you mean?
Cash App.
You people.
What you got?
What do you mean, you people? Hi.
Aisha's here, the greatest analyst in the history of the world.
What you got?
Oh my gosh.
What I got?
What do I got?
Cash App.
I use Cash App.
Exactly.
I have Venmo, I have Apple Pay, but Cash App is just more convenient.
What your friends got?
They're the exact same.
Most of my friends have Cash App.
Exactly.
Are most of your
Most
friends
of mine
black?
have Cash App.
Only my. Yes.
Exactly.
Most of my.
Why'd you make a face with it?
Yes. But I have a broad spectrum of
I do
friends
too.
across the states. And yeah, like my bougie friends do use Venmo.
Yeah.
And they want me to send the little emojis.
Yeah. We Cash App.
I'm wealthy. What do you want?
Get away from
I'm
us.
super wealthy.
Talk that talk.
Oh my.
Talk that.
Jesse played in the league. That's why he's on Venmo. He's wealthy.
We got a super chat.
We got a super chat.
What's that? Guillotine. Chill. You should change your intro to Atomic. No.
Yes.
No.
It's Founders Week. That's right. Tell them
Happy
about
Founders
it.
Week, but we don't need. We
It's
don't.
Founders
Need,
Week.
we don't.
Let
need,
them know. Let them know.
We don't need Atomic Dog every
Let
time we
them know.
intro in.
Let them know. I got to try to tell them.
We don't need all that, man. We don't need.
Let them know.
We don't need the
Room to
barking
the good
and all
bros.
that. Shout out to the good bros.
All right.
We don't need all that.
I have a positive for the Cowboys today.
No, do you have a real positive? Because yesterday
I have a real positive.
we had tote that thing, and you were supposed to tote something positive from the last game into this week.
I did.
And I don't know if your sense of direction of toting something from one place to another was quite accurate as it was supposed to be.
You didn't think my positive was positive?
Your toting
It was a
to
backhanded
feed Zeke.
positive. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to feed Zeke? He's an icon of the franchise and a great
Yeah,
player.
because that's like saying you're looking and it said roll closed ahead, and you keep driving.
So wait, so you're hating on Zeke?
See,
Jeff, please.
see.
So here's my positive.
What is your positive?
I got a positive, okay?
Yes, here it is.
We were due for one.
Took a day to think of it.
I was listening to a couple of buddies of mine that have a podcast for Pro Football Focus, and I only listened to it because somebody tagged me and said they shouted me out, and they did. They spent 3 or 4 minutes talking about me, which is great. And so I liked the podcast.
Hey, when they talk about you, you gotta like the podcast.
A lot of me.
You gotta like it.
And it was just another spin on something that I'd done a video on my little tiny individual YouTube channel a few weeks ago. And here's what I want people to know. This season sucks. That's not the positive. Well, it kind of can be. This season sucks, and it's going to. That's the way it's going to go. But I just want to draw the distinction between the teams that are bad and are going to be bad and the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys are bad today.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason the Cowboys are bad next year. Like, there's a difference between bad and, oh, you're bad for a second.
So, like, Carolina is bad.
Yeah. Like, there's bad. I pulled up
the Jaguars, bad.
I think they're closer to bad.
Okay.
But they're in an in-between place.
Okay.
But like, Tennessee is bad.
Okay.
Carolina's bad. Cleveland is bad. They're bad. And it's
Cleveland
such
made the playoffs last year.
well, yeah, but now they're done. They traded away their number 1 wide receiver. Their quarterback can't play. Like,
They're in a tough spot.
they're dying. They have Myles Garrett. That's what they got.
And
Does he go on sale soon? Sorry, this is completely random. Does he go on sale soon?
No, because they're delusional. They're doing cap stuff where they keep pushing and pushing like the Saints. Those are the 2 dumbest teams in football right now. They're bad teams
the
that
Saints are bad.
operate as if they're not.
I think a lot of players
Saints
on that team could be up for grabs.
Yeah, the Saints are bad because from their economics.
Yeah, their salary cap F,
they're-
and they
they're-
refuse to acknowledge it.
yeah,
Just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Just keep digging.
they're bad.
They're idiots.
When now they gave away their best cornerback and they're starting to give away players, they're realizing I think they're gonna eat it and suck it up for the next year or 2.
But the Cowboys aren't bad. Let's move past that.
I'm talking
But the
about
Cowboys
That
aren't
was a
bad.
lot. That
This
was
is-
a lot. That was just a lot for
you just when this
Wednesday
man
morning.
said I'm tiny. You know,
For
you
hump
just
day.
said
That was a lot for hump day for me. I'm good. I'm back now. Go ahead. You're positive.
This is more 2015 than anything else.
That was
2015.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
2015, they went 4-12 because Romo got hurt.
Right.
tracking.
But that football team had Tyron, Ron Leary, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Doug Free, plus Lyle Collins. Like, they had a team. They just lost their quarterback. And like this year, it's not just injury. They did do part of this on purpose. Like, I got a tweet from a guy today that said, "How long is their window closed if they refuse to be players in free agency?" And now the answer to that is they are bad if they refuse to use free agency again. But the fix for the Cowboys is way easier than it is for the bad teams, right? The bad teams, I'm going to give you the, here we go. Let's go with the Carolina Panthers just for fun. So the Carolina Panthers probably don't have a quarterback. Bryce Young is back out there and playing better than he did initially, but probably don't have a quarterback. And I have their entire team pulled up here. Where are their franchise players? J.C. Horn? Derek Brown, maybe? Derek Brown. Kind of J.C. Horn. Nothing on offense. Okay.
They traded away.
They just paid Chuba after they drafted a running back in the first round.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I like
he's a good
Chuba.
player.
I do like.
I know, but
He's a good player.
they drafted a running back in the first round last year.
Yeah, they took Jonathan Brooks. And
coming off ACL, who has yet to play.
So here's the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans franchise players are
brought to you
Jeffrey
by
Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Brought to you by nobody.
All right.
Brought to you by nobody.
So the hard part about getting good at football, the Cowboys haven't drafted well the last couple of years, and that happens. But they've still found some players in there. But they haven't drafted well, so they don't have like a great surge of young talent on the way. But the hard part is finding one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, is finding one of the 3 to 5 best receivers in the NFL, is finding a franchise quarterback, is finding a perennial all-pro offensive lineman. The Cowboys already did the hard part.
But do you? I don't want to. I want you to finish this topic. But all the three players that you named, they kind of lucked into those guys, right?
But they have them.
Right. But
CD was a no-brainer.
Right. He fell to you.
To your lap.
Right? That was Same thing with Micah, because you were going to go J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. Right? And then those two guys got snatched up until you were like, well, we'll go with this other kid from Penn State. And it's worked out phenomenally for you.
Right.
And then, I know what Dak Prescott is now.
Yeah.
But I do also remember that he was in a battle with Jamil Showers. He
was Kellen Moore's backup.
It took Romo and Kellen Moore to have the ankle injury and the back injury for him finally to get his start.
And he was a second, fourth round pick. They value Charles Tapper over him.
So I'm saying,
you got to remember that.
Even the guys that they have, the names that you named, the three players that you named, it wasn't like those guys were their go get them first choices.
And that's fine, but they have them.
Okay.
The problem,
the bad teams don't have them.
The problem with the optimism is that right now, for this disillusioned fan base, for everybody's perspective about the Cowboys, is Super Bowl.
Take shots at the people.
It's disillusioned. Everybody's disillusioned. The problem here is that it's Super Bowl or bust, because I've argued with people over the last 3 years.
If you're Super Bowl or bust, that's your fault.
No, but
that's your fault.
The Cowboys are 12-5. I remember before the season, the Cowboys have been average and mediocre. They have not been.
No, they're the second best record in football over 3 years.
They haven't won the playoffs. But people think because they haven't won the playoffs, because they failed in the playoffs, that it's been bad. And so then you add this year on top of it. So to say that they can be better as a positivity, no one's going to accept the positivity unless it takes you to the Super Bowl. People still, because it's the 30 years that's on everybody's head. That's not going to be removed. I don't care if they come back next year and make the playoffs. It's still going to be considered bad because they didn't get to the Super Bowl.
And that's okay. Let me put it this way: that person, I can't help that person.
No, you can't. But that's how the world looks at the Cowboys.
No one can help that person.
That's how everybody looks at the Cowboys.
You think it's a failure if you're not
Jesus
the one.
Can help.
Right? Jesus can help. But if you think that you have to be the one that wins out of 32 to have had a good season or enjoy watching football, you're screwed. That sucks.
But that's where the fan base is right now. And that's where America is looking at the Cowboys, because they have not won since 95 season, 96 Super Bowl, that anything they do is considered, well, you haven't won since a failure.
That's fine. I enjoy watching them when they're winning a bunch of games and maybe going to win the division. I like watching good competitive football. And I guess all I want to get across is, unless they intentionally are so scared of the salary cap in the future, they should be good again next year. You are not one of the bad teams.
What are the steps?
So what happened is, here's what happened this year. First of all, Jerry told you it was coming, and it was on purpose to an extent. You didn't know you were going to get decimated at one of the most important positions in football and lose your top 4 edge guys. That sucks. And then lose your quarterback too. That sucks. Whatever.
2 of your top 4.
What do you mean?
Edge guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Parsons is back. He was out.
Okay.
When he was out, it was him, Tank, Sam Williams, Marshawn Newland. All of them. You take anybody's everything, and they're in trouble. But part of it was on purpose, because they were playing a game to prepare for next year, and Jerry told you that. And we ignored it because after that, he said all in 100 times.
Right.
He said Dak was going to have to do more with less. This was planned to an extent. They didn't plan to have everybody hurt. They planned to be competitive. But a year from now, what's going to happen is they have $20 million in cap space, and some people are mad they didn't spend it. That money is already spent. It's being spent as soon as this season ends, because they owe money to 3 players who won't be here, and it's $20 million. So that's spent. Then you're going to go into an offseason with $24 million in cap space. That's not very much money. But we know how big contracts work. They restructure the big contracts every year. It's built into them. When they do that with Dak and CD, you will now have $80 million in cap space. If you cut Terrence Steele after that, you will have $14 million more. If you cut Donovan Wilson after that, you'll have $7 million more. The Cowboys are going to be sitting on $100 million in cap space while having a franchise quarterback, a top 3 defensive player of the year candidate every year, an all-pro offensive lineman that is absolutely an anchor for what anybody would want on their offensive line. One of the best receivers in football. The only way that they don't bounce back and be competitive next year is if they just for no reason decide not to spend money again. It will be staring them in the face.
Okay.
And I could go sign you a starting right guard for $15 million, a starting veteran running back for $5 to $7 million, who you can partner with a random guy that you pick in the draft. Like, I can fix this team this offseason, and it ain't hard.
All right, let's put a pin in that. Let's go to break, because I think there's still meat left on the bone. Yeah, there's still meat on the bone for this one.
Please.
Meat on the bone. Let's see if Clarence will yell at me for trying to be optimistic.
Joe Randall.
Hit the like and subscribe, or else. That's not a threat, of course. So yeah, we'll keep this thing going. Oh, yep. Yep.
If you got meat left on the bone and your bone just ain't quite getting up to where it got to or needs to get to, I got a plan for you.
Okay.
BlueChew.com. You get 1 month free with our code ALLCITY, ALLCITY. If you don't know what plan you should get, don't worry about it. You log on, they hook you up with a doctor or teledoctor. You don't even have to leave your house. They get you right. They go through all your little medical things. You send it off, and now you are up and ready to go. You're ready for that nightcap when you got to do what you got to do. And it lasts. This thing can last anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. It gets you right. So that means no matter what round that you pick it in,
confidence.
You be ready to go.
Feeling good.
With a little bit of blue chewing. Ain't that right?
Huh?
Yeah, Clarence. Yeah, Clarence. Yeah. The Blue Chew captain right there. Head on over to Blue Chew. Get 1 month free. All you got to do is log on, use our promo code ALLCITY to get yourself right. BlueChew.com.
As soon as this break is over, I'm teeing off on Kevin Gray, our coworker, who's in the chat. Let's talk about our friends at Z-Biotics first, though. I love me some Z-Biotics. Last night at volleyball, I might have had a couple. Might have had a couple of bevies while I was out there playing my volleyball. But you know what my first drink of the night was? My Z-Biotics pre-alcohol, because that gets you squared away
pregame
to have a nice morning. You know how it is. You get older, the mornings get rougher. If you are out there having some of the alcoholic beverages, which I do tend to do, and Z-Biotics pre-alcohol can take care of you. It's a probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by real smart people, PhD scientists, to tackle those rough mornings. Here's how it works. When you drink, did you know? The alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct that's in your gut. And it's that, not dehydration, that's to blame for that rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break that thing down. Remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Use our promo code DLLS Cowboys. That's zbiotics.com/DLLS Cowboys. So we're talking about how I think this season's not going to be fun. Nothing about this is going to be fun, but then we're going to have a great time talking about the offseason and the draft and what you want to do in free agency. And unless they totally screw it up, you're going to be competitive again next year because you have the most important, really, really, really good players. Now we just have to supplement. That's where we were. And I just want to tee off on Kevin Gray sports real fast. The standard is a championship. If you're not first, you're last. I want my team to act like the Chiefs, Ravens, 49ers, etc. I want this team to win championships. Okay. Then you're lying. In your own message, you're lying, KG. Because you know the last time the 49ers won a championship was before the Cowboys did. So in y'all's world, the 49ers are failures. Boy, I'd hate to live in that sports world.
Well,
they are
not. They've been getting
awesome.
there, so that's why people.
They're a really good team that has a chance every year to win the Super Bowl.
But that's different than the Cowboys, though.
It's completely sidebar, and maybe this is the player in me a little bit too much. If you do not win a championship,
it don't matter.
You failed.
Yeah,
that's just my theory. That's my way of living. And if you don't win, if your goal is to set out to win a championship, and there's only one that gets to do it every single year, the other 31 are failures. Right. Now, in failing, there are lessons to be learned. There are things that you can use as catapulting you to the next level. But make no mistake about it, you failed.
Kyle Shanahan's not a great coach.
And in failure, there are levels to it. The level that the 49ers have failed is different than the level the Cowboys have failed. And the problem in Dallas is not being a contender, not getting to the championship game, not getting to the Super Bowl.
Wait, but
no.
Either it's championship or not, or there's levels. You don't get to do both.
My point is it's championship or not, but the problem with the Cowboys and the Cowboys fan base, and when I talk about this disillusionment, is that they haven't even gotten close. And so that 30 years of not even getting close is dumped on top of this team in anything they do.
Yeah, but you are deciding to do that to yourself.
I'm not.
You don't have to do that.
I ain't doing. I'm just stating the fact.
I know. I'm talking to any fan. Like you don't have to do that.
Yes, they do. Because people say, you know how they watch the Cowboys Super Bowl.
Dak Prescott has nothing to do with Quincy Carter. Tony Romo had nothing to do with.
You know how Cowboys fans watch the Cowboys Super Bowls on VHS.
That's unfortunately.
That's fine.
That's
VHS,
just how people project.
For those of you who are just young, it's VCR, it's a tape. You actually put it in this machine that looks it's a square rectangular machine.
That's part of the deal.
Press play and it like.
That's fine. But that's part of the dinner when people talk about the Romos and the Dak. Everything, the failures of the past is lumped on the failures of the present.
But that's up to the individual who's doing that. That's on you. You don't have to do that.
Sir.
You don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to, but it's part of it. It comes with it.
Like Dak don't have to carry that. Tyron don't have to carry that. DeMarcus Ware doesn't have to carry that.
They don't have to.
You don't have to carry that. And if you're going to put that on me, that's you putting that on me. That's not me. But the angst of the fan base, when they put it on Dak, when they put it on Tyron, when they put it, it's because of the years. And that's the angst of the family. That's the angst. When they put it on Jerry Jones, it's on his plate. He has not won. Well, if Kyle,
he hasn't even gotten close.
When Kyle Shanahan gets run for not being a good enough coach because they didn't win a Super Bowl, send him to me. But to you, he's not good enough because they haven't won a championship.
I said
to you, he's not good enough.
I said the levels.
I'll take him.
The problem with the Cowboys is they haven't even gotten Kyle Shanahan level of success.
We'll get to. Well, no, you don't. That's not true. They've had the exact same success because you keep telling me you either did or you didn't, and they didn't. So they've had the exact same success. The Panthers are the exact same as the 49ers. They're not winning a championship.
No one said the Panthers are like the 49ers. No one said that. But as a player, there's obviously there's one champion every year. Mm-hmm. But do you have hope? Do you want your fan base to have hope that you can compete, that you can contend? And when you haven't even gotten close?
Well, my response to that would be you just got to keep getting in the dance.
I agree, and people hate that.
And that's how people say it.
The problem is, when you get knocked out, and people turn you down the first. As soon as you ask, "Well, hey, you want to dance?" Nope.
I mean, I get.
I don't like that song. You know what they say?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
That's not my song. I'm waiting for my song.
I get what you're saying, but I also get what Jeff is talking about. I get what you're saying, but I also get what Jeff is talking about as far as the team building. And, going into this draft, you might be able to pick up a couple more picks and figure some things out. And then, again, the difference between the Cowboys and those teams is just attacking free agency, which brings me to my next point is, I agree with your optimism. It's the coaching that I'm...
Oh, I got good news for you on that front, too. You get to pick a new one. You're going to get to pick a new one.
But what changes from coach to coach? Because we've had we've had a lot of coaches. And we've had one big free agent signing. Because I get the draft. And the draft is a 50-50 crapshoot. And when you talk about those other teams, the Niners and the Chiefs and those other players that they're talking about, yes, there is a component of drafting that needs to take place, must take place, will take place. And some of those guys will hit, some of those guys won't hit. Why I think the Cowboys, and that's why I said the other day, the mindset needs to change from the general manager or whoever is going to be the one picking.
This coach hiring has to be different.
It has to be different, and it has to be different in the sense of you got to go out in free agency and really be a player. Not the bargain bin like you were talking about, not the tail end, not this, because if your roster is going to be top heavy, then damn it better be good top heavy.
And you need those veterans. When you start talking about getting into the playoffs, you start getting late into the season, you need those veterans for your young guys to be able to lean on.
And not only that, those are the determining factors to me in the games that matter the most. Right. When you get into the playoffs, when you get into those tough games, I want to have guys that I can rely on in those moments who have done it, who have been around it for a while. The moment's not too big. They're not learning how to be a professional. We're not talking about them, mentally and physically still being immature. We're not talking about them trying to figure out their way. If you're going to be in the conversation of competing with the teams that people like Kevin Gray talked about, right? Those teams...
They're not champions either, so they're the same as you.
I'm talking about, but to compete with those teams, you got to have enough veterans on this team that are ready to go. We've put a lot of hope. Like, that's the thing that I talk about hopium. Like, Tyler Guyton was hope. We hoped that worked out. We hope that worked out. Definitely. And, Al Harris right now has been a liar out of me because I came over here, I was like, man, he told me in preseason that this Kalen Carson, I got me another one. And the look in his eyes, damn near had me. He had me. I believed him. I believed him.
Can't play.
But that brings me to my second point also too, is that not only are you dealing with, you talking about the team building and everything, you also got to think about the players, right? Because I think about the linebacker position, how there's been a revolving door of veterans coming in and out of the linebacker position. That's a position that takes mentorship, that takes time, that you need to be poured into for. You got young guys out there kind of learning on the fly. I mean, Kendricks is here, but again, that's a revolving door of your veterans. You don't have a staple veteran for that position. You look at the DT position. We talk about Mozzie Smith, talk about some of these other young guys. Who have they had to lean on besides Hankins? Again, revolving door to help them develop as players. We heard players talk about Stephon Gilmore ad nauseum last year, how much he was helping them in general. Kalen Carson could have most definitely used, and this is not to say that Trayvon Diggs is not mature, but he's still somewhat young in his career. Like, you also need foundational pieces in your locker room to help those guys mature in those ways and to grow as men and become better players.
And see, the problem with all of this, and I hear you, they had that last year. They had the perfect scenario. 12-5, they were healthy going to the playoffs. They had the Hankins. They had the Gilmore. They had the Brandon Cooks.
But that goes back to what he just said. You got to pay top dollar.
Let me say that they had that set up last year, and they still failed miserably.
You didn't pay top dollar. You didn't compete.
But you talked about Gilmore's and those veterans being here to help the young guys.
Yeah, but she talked about for an extended period of time. Not there's only so much that a Gilmore can do in a 6 months time frame. Right? He has a wealth of knowledge that if you were around for a couple of years, you know, if you weren't just here for a year and gone, if you were around here for a couple of years, there's the building block that you can add on to those players.
Right, but what I'm saying is when you talk about paying top dollars, you're going to be paying top dollars to one or two, okay, if you're going to do that. You know, they haven't paid top dollars since Brandon Carr, okay, for outside free agent.
It's like over 10 years ago.
Right,
it's insane.
but you're only going to do one or two, so it's going to be supplemental guys who Hank is. You're going to have to supplement with those type of veterans. Again, you had the perfect scenario. Okay, and you talk about Mozzie Smith needing help. Mozzie Smith is supposed to be the help. He's the number one pick.
That's not a realistic.
He's supposed to be the help.
I agree,
He's
but
supposed
that's
to be
not
the difference maker.
That's not a realistic way to look at DT, specifically
no,
nose tackle.
You pick the guy in the first round.
It's not.
He's supposed. We're in year 2.
Even Byron Murphy getting blown off the ball in Seattle.
Not my problem. We're talking about the Cowboys that won in 30 years.
Let's just be for real here about that position and what it calls for. They do need that. And you're not doing the things that you need to do to help these players develop. You call yourself a draft and develop team. You're not even giving them foundational veterans to help them develop. We already know coaches don't get a lot of time with them. So that's a whole nother subject. And if you're talking about Hankins, he had been hurt going into the playoffs the last couple of years. You should have been having a conversation about that in the first place. You're talking about the linebacker position. You brought in Anthony Barr. He was chasing people. Struggling in coverage. They attacked him in coverage. I mean, and that's the type of veterans you are assigning. Again, revolving door, no foundation.
They haven't
valued
linebacker in a long time.
Well, they signed washed guys. They signed washed.
Right, they haven't valued linebacker in a long time.
To your point,
they don't value linebackers like that.
To your point, they should be able to team build and do some things that would make them. Their foundation is steady.
It should be easy.
Their foundation is steady. They need to learn how to get better role players. You need role players and guys that are just specific for certain things.
That's how you do it. You spend more money.
But you're not spending money on role players. But you got to spend money on
they
more.
Should.
Yeah, but you're not
spending money on role players. And they're going to have all the money in the world to spend.
Again,
but it's not, when you're talking about spending money on role players, it's like when you look at the other team, there are certain players that you don't have to spend $92 million on as a role player. But you got to spend a decent amount of money to get those role players.
Yeah, like King Henry.
And get
$9 million.
And give those rookies time.
That's been a good role player. That wasn't a lot of money.
No, it's like this.
Top of the
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Next year, these are free agents in 2025. James Daniels, Austin Corbett, Kevin Zeitler. Like, these are offensive linemen that they're solid. Mm-hmm. 1 year, $12 million.
That's a lot
and
of
your
money.
guard is fixed. And you have $100 million to spend. I can do that 8 times. And none of them have to be big contracts. And I can go get you 6 to 8 players. It's not hard.
If 1 year, $12 million, you could have got King Henry.
It's not hard. Sure, you could have. You absolutely could have.
And they would have made a difference.
They still would be 3-7.
He would have made a difference. I'm sorry.
They might be 4 and 6.
They would not be 3 and 6.
You think Derrick Henry changes the record of this team?
In one game, yeah.
Which one?
I don't know.
So says
he may have changed the Baltimore game. They only lost by 3.
Okay, well, let me apologize because I thought I was doing a segment about how it's going to be good, that they're going to be good again next year. And then immediately it became, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I want last year back real bad. Right now.
At the very least.
I'd love to win the division and have a home playoff game and not know what's going to happen and roll the ball out there. I'd love to be there.
You don't know what's going to happen?
No.
You don't know what's going to happen? If they get the playoffs, you don't know what's going to happen?
Do they lose every playoff game they play?
At home?
Has Dak won a playoff game?
At home?
Has Dak won a playoff game?
At home?
They don't lose every playoff game they play. We take the tiniest sample size we can find, and we say that's who they must be at all times.
And most of the time when
first of all, they've only won 4 since 1997. Well, so it's not like it's a litany of. Okay,
yeah. The good news is we'll have a new coach too. I think. Is it prime time for a Cowboys coaching search this offseason? That's next on the Cowboys DLLS Podcast. And y'all stop talking about Kevin Gray cooking. No. Because Kevin Gray named 4 of the teams, and then when I said, well, they didn't win either, and so what are you talking about? He said, I'm talking about my team. No, you didn't. You talked about 4 teams.
Well, here's the team that I'm talking about. My team is Game Time. That's who I go with. That's my team. Game Time is my team. And it should be your team to go right now. Download that Game Time app. Use the promo code DLLS and get $20 off your first purchase of tickets. You get to see where you're going to sit. You get the right price. Now, you don't get all that flubber and fluff. You get the dedicated right price of what you're going to spend on that particular game. Not you go in for one price, you come out with a mortgage. That's not what you get over at Game Time. But you got to download the app. You got to get on your phone. Put it right here in the palm of your hands. This is $20 sitting right here in the palm of your hand. All you got to do is download the app, use the promo code, go to a concert, go to a show, go to a game. Hell, start looking for games next year. Start putting a little money that you're going to save away for that one. Game Time, download the app, use the promo code, save the bread. What time is it?
Game time.
Let's talk about our guys at Sleeper as well, the best fantasy league platform out there, but also now you can make picks on Sleeper, which I do about every day, 15 times a week. Yep. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. All you're doing is taking your favorite, least favorite player, or just the one that you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing here. And you say, well, they have more or less than their projected stats for each week. And as I said, the more picks you combine, the more you can win. All the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. Stay ahead of the game. Keep track of league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you got what it takes, download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLSBOYS. For a limited time, new users can now get their first deposit matched 100% up to $1,500, the largest deposit match ever. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right.
Okay, we got a couple of things.
You want a piece of me?
I want a piece of you.
Please hit the like and subscribe.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, we cooking in here.
It's heated today.
Yeah.
It's heated today. I'm going to fight somebody.
Okay, don't fight me. I'm just a little updates from the Mike McCarthy press conference. Brandon Cooks is close to returning.
Hell yes.
They're starting Chuma Edoga's 21-day window.
Hell yeah.
So, you probably could have Guyton, Awesome, and is it Awesome, right? And Edoga right there at the options at left tackle.
I have a question.
What about the rookie first round pick? Is he not an option at left
tackle?
I said
Guyton.
Okay.
I said Guyton.
Okay.
I didn't leave out Guyton.
What does Brandon Cooks coming back mean, if anything?
Huh?
It's hard because of your record. I mean, it
he's
means
had
nothing.
time to heal up from what he's dealing with, so hopefully he looks better. Because finding out he was injured, basically.
You know the funny thing is, okay,
you like to lead with that a lot. If you lead with,
it means more to Brandon Cooks than the Cowboys, I think. Because he's now playing to show the league he can still play.
But the funny thing about the Brandon Cooks injury was, okay, he was getting some. Well, he got an injection. He got an injection.
Yeah. What was funny?
And it got infected. Yeah. And then it was, okay, so we're gonna do a scope. And he's been ready for like 2 weeks. They've been holding him back. Because this was not a major injury. This was an infection. We're going to do a scope. But it wasn't like he hurt himself, And why is it taking so long for him to come back? Are they holding him out?
I could see it being like they know where they are.
Right.
They want to see guys that are on their team.
Right.
They want to see Jalen Brooks play, and they want to see Ryan Flournoy get on the field if somebody's not available. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were, and I wouldn't say like holding him back, like he could be full go, fully healthy, ready to rock, and then for a month they're gonna be like, just stand over there. But that you absolutely take your time, because look, we're not scrapping.
Look at our boy Joe. What up, Joe? Just
Hey, Joe.
Say hello.
Joe's married.
Yeah.
Y'all tell
Married
Joe
man
congratulations.
right there.
Damn, Joe.
If he on them blue chews,
Hit the
Hey,
like and
y'all
subscribe.
wanna
he's
do.
20. He don't need them Bluetooth. He's 20
I
something.
listen, he probably knocking us. I should
Stop it, man.
Jesse.
shout out to
Stop it.
Catherine.
For crying out loud.
So what I'm saying is 2 weeks ago, Brandon Cook comes on the practice field,
Knocking the stuffing out.
Comes
that
on the
muffin.
practice
You hear
field,
me?
you know, letting his knees show. Okay, now no leg and letting his knees show. So you let them knees show. You let us know that your legs are fine, because they had surgery. Yeah, I'm ready to go. This was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, we're still like.
He kept putting out these cryptic tweets.
Right, I'm saying
Yeah.
he been
He would
ready.
put Archer go or go Archer.
Yes,
Like, he's been putting out these
He's
cryptic
been. I'm saying
tweets.
so. Something's at work here.
Well, it could be that
Yo, you can get Brandon Cooks,
You remember-
Mingo, and CD. Like,
before he
oh.
got hurt, like the way that I talked about him, like they might feel that way.
Well, I
Hey,
understand. I'm
congrats,
just saying.
congrats on being healthy, but
Yes.
we don't think that you help.
Yeah.
I don't think
boy
that's
Joe.
possible.
Smirk.
Insert smirk emoji.
Smirk
No,
emoji.
Joe.
Yeah.
Listen, he been posting beautiful pictures of his wedding on social
y'all looked
media.
great. They looked great.
He's smirking about the Brandon
I
Cooks
love
conversation.
Nah,
Luke
he's
No,
so
he's
smirking
smirking
much.
about the Bluetooth.
No, yeah,
he's
he's
smirking about the
smirking about
Bluetooth.
that.
He's
I
smirking
love
about the
Shout out to my
Bluetooth.
boy Joe. Tell him something, Joe.
Tell
Knocking
him.
the stuffing out that muffin. I hate
Stop
it, baby.
saying
Let's
that.
go. Let's go,
They are
Joe. Let's
having-
go, Joe.
They're having a
Come back
beautiful-
a few pints light, my boy.
Stop
Let's
it.
go,
Stop
Joe.
it. Is she gonna be pregnant on honeymoon?
They
Whatever.
literally, y'all are out of pocket.
Guillotine's in the super chat.
We got a super
Okay.
chat.
Is Dak going to the same doc that screwed Cooks? Dak has used that doctor before.
They're both in New York.
No.
Dak has gone to that doc before he told me
I
that.
think Dak was the one that told him about that.
Yeah,
doctor, too.
he told me.
Which means that Dak knew that Cooks wasn't good anymore either. And he was like, hey, go
He
to my doc.
sabotaged
He
it.
texted his
Go
doc
to
and
the
he was
witch
like, hey,
doctor.
go ahead and infect that one.
We're
give him
good.
the
We
fail.
don't need him.
Y'all
But then Dak
dirty.
saw his other options. It was like, hey, man, can we fix that? Let's try something different.
But what are
You know
the
what's
Cowboys?
funny?
What are the Cowboys' option at coach
Let's see.
for the 2025
One,
season?
one more thing. I just want to list some funny thing that Dak said he was going.
Funny.
It is funny to me.
When you lead,
it's funny to
when
me.
you lead with
New rule.
it's this is a new rule.
I
No,
can't
seriously.
say it's funny.
Then we
you
better
can.
laugh.
You can, but
Then
you
we
have
better
to
laugh.
laugh. Or we have
Because
to
you
laugh.
always lead with
Okay.
it's funny
Dak,
because
after the
no,
game,
when you lead with it's funny because
it's not.
if it ain't funny, I'm punching you in the ribs.
You're not
Every
punching,
time you
you're
do
not
that.
punching me
Every
at all.
time I'm pinching you. Then.
You are not punching me
I'm
at all.
pinching you. Then
You
every
are
time
not
you,
punching me
I'm
at
pinching
all.
you.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
pinching you.
You're
Every
not-
time you
men
lead with,
don't pinch.
it's funny
Men don't pinch each other
because
either.
it
Men
better
don't
be
pinch.
funny.
Men don't pinch each other.
Clarence
ahead.
is
So
too.
after the game,
Hit you with fishtail.
after the game, Dak said that he was going to witness spleen doctor.
Spleen doctor.
Remember the doctor
That clear witness.
that cleared Witten in New
He was
York?
trying to find- he was trying to find it yesterday.
That is funny. You got that was funny.
He was going to witness spleen doctor.
That's
in New York.
funny.
I want to play. I'm going to witness doctor.
This must be a niche joke. I'm glad that you changed what you was gonna do to Clarence, but because Clarence too close to 60, that's a felony.
Jason
You
Witten had
can't-
a destroyed
Ma'am,
internal
You
organ.
can't
Come on,
assault
Jason.
elderly people.
Jason Witten went
Let's
to
stop
enough
it.
doctors to
Yeah.
find one that would be
That
like,
said
you can
yes.
play. And he was like, I can play.
I can play.
It was
That
in New
clear
York.
With a
play.
ruptured spleen.
It was in New York. So that's what he said he was going to witness spleen doctor.
That was funny.
See?
That was funny.
I got you.
All right. we on alert now.
No,
We on-
listen,
we on
I ain't-
alert now.
listen,
Right
sir.
there. Right there.
Sir.
Right there.
Sir.
Yeah, there you go.
Joe,
I
please
jab
come
back.
back.
Super chats,
Come
Vance,
back.
rank these from most to least. I mean, that's a whole damn segment. To least in importance for the next head coach. Scheme, discipline, player buy-in, development, respect Jerry will have for them. Scheme and development, most important, according to Jeff. Scheme and development. I give half a damn about Jerry Jones.
Whoa.
About
Well,
tired of that man.
He-
What?
500 coaches can do this job. Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
huh?
it's working
Can't
out,
nobody do GM like he does.
working out great for
Can
him.
I say something?
Sure.
You know what the constant is between all of the games that, you talk about the playoff games against the 49ers.
Slow
and
starts.
The Rams and all the playoff losses that the Cowboys have dealt with,
Slow starts.
they either couldn't run the ball or they couldn't stop the run. And you're still here. So I just think that it's an important factor to look at when you're talking about the playoff games. I think so many people just be like blaming the quarterback or whatever. And I'm just like, y'all, you couldn't run the ball and you couldn't stop the run in any of those games. And you're still in that same position. What does that tell you?
What
does that tell
It's
you?
not good, and they tried to address it, and that's what I think makes it even more frustrating. That Mozzie is, to this point, a really bad football player. Is that they
He's a bad football
Is
player.
that
It ain't
they
about development.
thought they used a premium asset on a part of the game that's not as important as passing, and they still, we'll see, so far, missed. That hurts. When you swing on a non-premium position with a premium asset and miss, that hurts my heart.
That sets you back.
But and that's what you're going through. You're going through that right now because Jake Ferguson needs some help. Like, you're going through that right now with how you have drafted. Like, we've talked about it, last year's draft class. Like, you're feeling the repercussions of that as, like, in totality. So it's like you don't even have a solid 2 tight end. No. That takes plays out your playbook. Yeah. That takes away, like, your ability to do things. I'm looking at the Texans. They run 12 all day. Guess who's running with them? Schultz. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just – I just feel like this is a trickle-down effect. And with the Mozzie thing in particular, I felt like not that them drafting him was a problem. It was also the fact that they didn't have anything to me in place to help develop him or to help him along with that development.
No.
DT is
he had a vet in front of him.
Who? Hankins?
But
Hankins was in and out of the lineup with injuries.
But he's
well.
here.
But they're not going to be on the field together anyway. They play the same position.
He's here. But he also, too, I mean, with the 2 gapping and stuff like that, we knew Hankins wasn't going to be here forever. I'm talking about when you go back to the foundational pieces you need. I felt like you needed a foundational piece to pair him with, not this person might be out the door. Every DT that I've ever talked to has talked about them not coming into their own. You know this until they're with their 3rd. Hank has told me specifically himself. He's like, I didn't come into myself almost going into my 4th year.
But he was never a great player. I mean, he was just a guy from his old career.
Okay.
She's right in terms of, on average, which positions take the longest to acclimate to the NFL. But there's a lot of D tackles that show up and play.
First-round pick.
There are guys that do that. Okay, so where was your depth behind him then, even so?
The Cowboys have not valued defensive tackle in a long time. They have not had a great defensive tackle in a long time. Haven't had a great defensive tackle since Jason Hatcher and
Roy Glover, baby.
I just think you can't.
Ratliff era. They haven't had a difference maker in the middle. And I've said all along, you can't be a good run defense without a horse in the middle.
And you're not gonna get that. To me, even that full product that you're looking for, you're not gonna get that right away in the draft. Like, I'm looking at some of the better DTs. Newton jumped off sides the other day, but he also is having issues getting off of blocks and stuff like that. I feel like this is not. It takes time to get there for most guys. And even if they do come out and play well, like we saw with Jalen Carter and Davis with Philly, they tapered it off at the end of the year because their depth wasn't adequate. So to me, it's like you can't handle every position like every other position. And the way that they've handled the DT position, to me, even though Mozzie needs to show up, they have not done what I think is conducive to actually developing that position. And that's just me. And you got philosophy changes now. So,
well, we need philosophy change.
No, I agree. So with the coaching thing, with the optimism you're talking about, Jeff, like, where would you start?
I would sign a defensive tackle that can play. I would pretend Mozzie Smith is not on my team. I would build my roster.
They should have did that to start this
Correct.
season.
They should have, and they should do it again. And I think that's something that I had with Van Der Esch for the last 3 years. You should build your roster as if he's not here. And in Van Der Esch's case, it was a health thing. And if he can play, great. Build it as if he can't. And in Mozzie's case, it's an ability thing. Build it as if he's not here. And if you get to camp and he's better than someone, sweet. Yeah, build it as if he's not here.
The problem is that even Osa's just been okay.
Yeah.
I mean, all the guys they've had at defensive tackle have been just okay.
And it's even harder for Osa because you're undersized and no one else is
you
a
never
good player.
have an adequate one tech.
Right. There's no one next to you.
And you don't have an adequate 3-tech.
Right. Well, I think he's an adequate 3-tech.
I'm sorry. If you're a 3-tech, you need to be able to get a rush to pass. I mean, that's what your 3-tech
well, he can.
is.
He hasn't.
Can he?
Yes.
How many sacks he got?
I don't know.
It's not about that.
Yes, it is. He had 3 sacks last year.
Pressure.
And they got him in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And they had none the rest of the season.
And you know why?
You need your 3-tech to get to the quarterback.
You need your 3-tech to not be having to freaking take on 2-gapping and doing and holding up double teams because you don't have an adequate nose tackle.
He ain't taking that many double teams. They're double teaming Mike.
Go look up who's your most double team D tackle right now, and I can guarantee you it's Osa.
Well, in this team, it's Osa by a million miles.
Right.
But it's always been Osa because he always takes the short end of the stick because you have not invested in the 1-tech position. So people are like, "Hey, let me neutralize him because he's the threat here."
I'm talking on pass rushing down.
I understand that. I know what you're saying. He's the guy that should be looping around. He's the guy that should be having the free free lane to the rusher, not holding up double teams for other people. But however, he's had to do that a lot of his career. So I'm not about to listen to nobody talk bad about Osa. I feel like Osa has been put in a tough spot himself, because of what you have going on at the nose tackle position. But let's move on.
I think there's a middle ground there.
Let's
where
move on.
Osa's an NFL starter.
Yes,
I think
that's
Osa's
Yeah,
an
of
NFL
course.
starter. If you want to make the case that Osa's great or
No.
Osa's like, he's fine.
He's good.
But it's hard to even be that when you don't have anything next to you.
I don't agree.
Okay. Coming up next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast, we'll see if we can get to the Cowboys coaching stuff. How about that? Next. And we want to encourage you to sign up to be a diehard. It's pretty cool being a diehard. First of all,
Come on. Hey, get the
Yes, we
4-shot
got
cat.
merch.
Get the 4-shot Kit Kat.
we can show you some of the shirts now. You get a shirt.
Yeah.
We got
When you
merch.
sign up, you get a shirt. You get to pick one, whichever one you want. We got some
Mine's-
good ones.
Mine's the best, clearly.
But it's really cool. It's a great deal when you sign up at alldlls.com. Katya, there's no
Can't
point
show
to you
that.
saying
Can't show
I
that
have my hoodie when you're not on camera because they can't.
And
see
you
the
can't
hoodie.
show it because they're not going to be able to buy one.
She gonna come?
Can they buy one?
Can they get one?
Oh, they can buy one of those? This wasn't in ours.
Being a diehard's cool because my favorite
We're
thing
friends. Like, I was just a
about
guy.
DLLS is we have every
he
sports
is your
team
place.
covered, and it's always growing and expanding. We have TCU. I know Longhorn stuff is in the works. I believe Wing stuff is in the works. Like we have everything covered with premium content for all of those teams. You just sign to be a diehard. You'll have access to all the exclusive content. We have a Discord lounge that is for our diehards only, and we're all hanging out in there talking about feet and whatever else.
Wait,
And whatever else.
I
said-
nodded my head in agreement. I was like, when you
Yeah.
said feet, and I was like, whoa, no,
I said-
I didn't.
I said,
And other stuff.
and whatever else. Yeah, whatever you want to talk about. We're going to talk about barbecue, snacks, TV.
Mhm.
A couple people in there talking about wrestling. We're having a good time. So yeah, it's a cool place to hang out with other people who are massive fans of all of the local teams, and we love it. You also get you a carrying card.
Mm-hmm.
Get
It's
your diehard,
special card.
get your diehard carrying card. AllDLLS.com. Go hit the subscribe button. Get up in there. How about that? How about that?
Sometimes you turn into the Jerry voice comes out of you, and you can't help it.
How about that?
Oh my God.
Okay, coaching things.
Yes.
I have the odds on who the next coach of the Cowboys is going to be.
Tell us, Jeff.
And I think the one that Jesse, you want to talk about, I will tell you, not at the very top, but it does crack me up watching people online talk about Deion and Shador.
It is so. Come on, please, just let it go.
It cracks me up.
He's not gonna do it.
I think it'd be hilarious.
He's very firm on not doing it.
I think
don't
it'd be
understand.
hilarious.
Why do you think it would be hilarious?
Because I would love to see the game ends. Okay? So when a game ends and it's a home game,
Who they go to first?
yeah. Like Clarence, when Deion takes the podium and
That's what I was-
Jerry's talking in the hall,
That's what I was about to say.
where are you going?
You know, it's funny because
Now wait,
I've
wait, now wait.
oh my
It
god,
better
It
be
better
funny.
be funny. It better be
to
funny.
you, like,
No,
listen,
it better be
listen,
funny.
listen.
It better be funny.
He got mad
It better be
Listen,
funny.
to
listen,
you. To
listen.
you.
To you,
Go ahead.
Anyway,
We're going to
better
start
be
calling
funny.
each
right
other out on
now,
our
I go
crutches.
to Mike McCarthy over Jerry
Yeah.
because Mike gets mad when we're not there. He's really made a point and said, you know, where are you guys? You know, he gets mad when David Moore and I are not at his press conference, and we value Jerry over him.
Did you laugh?
He doesn't get it?
Did you laugh?
He don't get it.
Kit Kat, did you laugh? Did you laugh?
Wait, no. He's a senior.
Did you laugh?
We can't.
Did you laugh?
Man, stop that pitching stuff.
Man.
What's wrong with you?
You know what I will say
Pitching
about
me?
that? You know what I will say about that? And this is
Crazy.
totally hypothetical. We're just talking. The amount of money that would be made, the blockbuster-ness, all that stuff, all of the lights, camera, action
Oh my
type stuff.
God.
And what coach?
Jerry pushing prime
What?
time merch.
And I will-
Coach Prime merch.
But
Yo.
you know, Prime's like, listen, you ain't gonna just push this merch without me.
That's
No,
what
I
I
get
was-
20%.
I want a piece of that too.
But that's what I was about to say. One thing we always talk about is the fact that whatever coach comes here is going to have to accept the other things that go on here.
Jerry ain't hiring nobody more popular than him.
That's what I'm saying. But if he was going to be willing to hire someone as popular as him, but also too, I feel like Deion, he's assertive. Like he has things the way that he wants them, and he wants to do things a certain way. We always talk about coaches coming in here and not having like free reign. Do you think that Jerry might be a little more open to giving him any type of? I don't think.
He's done it every time he gets desperate, right?
Yeah, but
like he gave it to Parcells. Has he ever been more desperate?
That was because they needed the stadium, right? We all know about that, right?
But
We knew
that
there was a
well, yeah, but right now you got to rescue ticket
but
prices.
What coach is gonna come here and bring you? Like, would it be a trade off? Because what coach is gonna come here and bring you the notoriety, the fandom, all those things at
Bill
the
Belichick.
same? And maybe not even that, because is he as likable as a Deion?
Not likable.
And
but
Deion's not even likable.
we don't know if Deion's likable.
Well, yeah, Deion's also dislikable.
Received.
But
whatever.
Bill Belichick, you can introduce him as, I've hired the best coach in the history of the sport, and that sells.
But Jerry's not hiring a coach for attention.
What?
He's not going to hire Deion. At this point, he's not hiring a coach for attention. He doesn't need Deion to sell product. They sell product like nobody's business.
So what is he hiring other coaches for?
I think he hires coaches based on...
He definitely didn't hire this coach to sell product.
I think Jerry hires coaches based on his wrong perspective of what winning is in the NFL. Yeah. Like Jerry wants a track record. You can say Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. Well, but that doesn't work for Garrett. That was just, here's a guy that's with us, and I love him, and he's basically part of my family.
It didn't work for our OC either, who had never been OC before.
The two things about Deion is that, and people keep bringing up Deion's name, and I know this came from Stephen A., who has a relationship with Deion, who really doesn't know football, and who said the Cowboys need to hire Deion and draft Shador. First of all, they just paid Dak $60 million. They're not drafting the quarterback, and they're not hiring Deion. But more importantly, Deion has said time and time again he does not want to coach in the NFL. No desire. I don't have any desire, ambition to coach in the NFL. He's a coach from Deion. I don't think I'm built for the NFL. Coaching Deion, money clouds judgment. It happened in college football. Money clouds that love and passion for the game. I would have a hard time in the locker room with a guy that's making multitude, of millions. I just read it for the first time. We just read it for the first time. I mean, that's making a multitude of millions, and he don't want to play and don't want to give his all. I love college. I will never do that. He also said today in a press conference today, when somebody brought up the possibility or the talk about him going to the Cowboys, I like where I'm at. I mean, Deion has said
but is he about to like where he's at when his son and his best player that he's kind of, I don't know, a family.
Well, he just got a 5-star quarterback that just flipped from USC.
Yeah, he just got a 5-star.
That's fine, but when your son and Travis Hunter are going, he might like it.
And what's also true when we talk about money, he can make more money in college football. Mike McCarthy makes $5 million a year, okay? The college football coaches are making 10 or more, the best ones.
But that's a Cowboys thing. Like Jerry keeps hiring unemployed people. There are NFL coaches that make $15 million.
I know, but he's never paid, even Parcells, he's never paid them $10 million.
Which makes him a liar.
So that's
the check I would write to win the Super Bowl.
I understand that, but he's never paid a coach that type of money.
He should.
And it gets back to the Ben Johnson thing, because everybody talks about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson wants $15 million.
That's what we do it. That's what we do at North Carolina, baby.
Ben Johnson wants $15 million.
That's how we do it at North Carolina, baby.
Jerry ain't paying $15 million to Ben Johnson.
That's not true. He just said that he would write any check to win the Super Bowl.
See, there you go.
But that's what we're talking about.
But he's not paying that kind of money.
What are we doing here? Is it about football or not?
Let's hear the odds.
I mean, the answer is no. The
it's
answer
not about
is
football.
Jerry
If it was about football, you hire the best coach.
It's about my way, is what it is. It's about doing it my way.
He wants to win at football.
It's been the case. It's doing it my way. He wants to be old blue eyes, Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Or Usher.
Frank, it's a Frank Sinatra song.
Way.
What I say go, I'm in control.
Yeah.
But that's at the end of the day, Jerry wants to hang up a banner or hang up a trophy and say, I did it. I did it without Jimmy. I did it out of GM. I did it my way, how I want to do it.
He wants it to say, not Dallas Cowboys. He wants it to say Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that's
Super Bowl champion 2025.
That's what he wants.
That's kind of what he wants.
You know, and so, but he's never paid a coach. And that's the thing about it. You when you get into bidding wars for some of these coaches, that's what it's going to come down to.
So what are some of the odds that they have for the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys?
The favorite is Mike Vrabel. And this
that doesn't excite anybody.
I don't want anything from the Belichick tree.
The second favorite is Ben Johnson. Mike Vrabel is plus 300. Ben Johnson is plus 500.
Let's go Tar Heels!
I'd faint.
Bill Belichick is plus 600. He's the third favorite. Brian Flores is plus 800. I bet you Brian Flores doesn't get the job. And I won't say for any particular
I know
reason.
why you won't say why.
I bet Brian Flores doesn't
I
get
bet
the
he
job.
don't get the job either.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying I don't think it'll be Brian Flores.
He may come in for an interview.
Oh,
No,
For a
y'all.
particular
I could see
reason.
that.
He's gonna come in for an interview.
He may come in for an interview for a very, very particular
I
reason.
know that is true.
To
I'm
pick
just
his
saying.
brain about football.
Can I?
Or
Is
Sure.
the Texans OC under Slowick? Is he? Because he's
He's struggling this year too.
He's fallen off.
He's struggling this year too.
well.
And that's the thing about when you're the hot coordinator, it's working out great for Ben Johnson.
They're like
He
the
was the bell of the ball last
but
offseason,
they-
and he will be again this
Remember all the
offseason.
stuff we said about the Saints OC after week
Right.
2?
But no
Bobby
Nico,
Slowick,
no
it's
Diggs.
kind of
But no Nico, no Diggs. They've had some injuries on the offensive line. They've had some stuff that's changed too. And I think you're all right.
There are also people saying
are
that is
learning.
kind of a half-ass Shanahan offense, and that people might kind of have a handle on it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Because he was a hot name coming into this year.
yeah, and it's kind of the same thing where like all of these things, like when you're hot, go.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta
Go.
strike with the iron side.
And it's the same thing as like college football, which it's not necessarily good for the NFL product, but I think there's lots of quarterbacks in the NFL who, when you're hot in college, you go. Because how do I not? And maybe NIL could change that now. But like Anthony Richardson was not ready to be an NFL quarterback. Trey Lance was not ready to be an NFL quarterback. But if you know people are going to pick you in the top 5, how you going to not go get that money? Go. Get it while it's there.
Have all y'all kind of taken a glance at the Texans? Anything stand out to you so far?
I've only watched defense.
No, I hadn't watched them at all. I mean, I've watched them play live football. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched him play live football. I know Tank Dell's not getting the stats I thought he would.
Well, and CJ is taking a step back this year. You know, there are reasons, but yeah, people get a book on you.
But to Aisha's point, not having Nico, not having Diggs, come on, that
It does.
No, it
alter
matters
your
for
offense.
everybody, but every
It
quarterback. The Cowboys have had injuries. Kansas City had injuries.
That's why.
That's part of the game. It
all
matters.
those numbers are down.
Yeah,
All those quarterbacks'
it
numbers are
matters.
down.
Is it weird that I'm in less of a hurry to scout the opposing teams because I know that they're going to smoke the Cowboys?
Yeah, I get it.
Like
I
will watch the tape after the game to see how the Cowboy players played, but I find it harder to motivate myself to be like,
No.
let's check these matchups
Yeah,
because I'm just like, well, that guy's going to kick
the
our
Tex-
ass. That guy's going
The
to kick
Texans
our
don't have a
ass.
good offensive line either. I mean,
Yeah,
that's part of it. I mean, the
that's-
offensive line is killing the quarterback right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I was taking a look at as well.
Yeah.
But CJ also too he's holding on to the ball long. He's running into some sacks. He is having some trouble reading what he's seeing in some instances as well. So I mean, that's just again, we want these quarterbacks in a microwave. He's a nugget. He's still developing.
But
He's
he
still
was
learning.
sunning guys early in the season. He
Yeah,
was sunning guys.
And he still will show
Sunning
flashes.
guys.
He'll show flashes of
They were
that.
healthy. The line was
I
healthy.
know,
The
but he was
receivers there.
going up to the quarterback, the young guy, and be like, "Hey, you can be like me one day.
But it sounds like they
You can
are
be like me one
gonna
day."
get
Caleb
Nico
Williams.
back.
Yeah. He was sunning guy. Like, dude, you still just 1 year in. Come on.
I
Yeah.
told Houston people life's different when you're the hunted.
I've
I
been telling
totally
people
agree.
that. Their expectations. You got expectations this year. It's not the same as last year.
You're not
Everything was
showing up
gravy.
where
Everything was
it's-
great.
Yay.
Ooh, look at the shiny new toy. Now people have expectations.
Let's get to the super chat right quick. Andrew, where do the Cowboys front office rank?
Depends on the year and it depends on who has say so. They're just such a blurry one.
And
They're
then
so blurry because it
They
depends.
ranked so well last year.
How often are you letting coaches make picks? How often are I think if Will McClay ran all of your personnel, your front office ranks really highly. I think when Mike McCarthy gets to pick his tight end in the second round, and when Dan Quinn gets to pick Deshaun Wright or fill in the blanks, when you're letting coaches pick players, like that's no longer your front office doing the front office's job. You're letting the coaches do it, and when it screws up, well, it's your fault. So I don't know, middle of the road, usually good.
And the other question was from Andrew. We appreciate you, Andrew, because you've been in here a lot today. 2023 draft class is from criminal, worst in years. Yeah.
It's criminal. He
2023. Yeah, you
it's
need
criminal.
Guyton. You hope Guyton develops. I think BB's a player.
Is it 2023 or 20? Oh.
Wait,
He's talking about 2023.
right? 2020.
2023.
Oh,
2023.
2023.
He's talking about Michael. I mean, not Michael, but
Yeah,
talking about-
Mozzie.
Mozzie. Oh, yeah.
Mozzie.
Mozzie and Schoon making them
Overshown.
two.
Belko.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
it's basically DeMarvion Overshown. Is that draft?
And
class.
maybe awesome.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Tario.
Maybe. Okay.
Come on
Swing-
now.
swing-
Not like
swing
I'm
tackle.
not
Swing
gonna
tackle.
discount. Like if he continues to play well, it's a big deal. You need to be able to pick up offensive linemen in the mid rounds and develop.
Oh, like if he becomes an NFL starter then I'd be like, that's
right now.
That's
His future is a swing tackle.
Yeah, if he's a backup offensive lineman, I'd be like, okay.
But even at the swing, with it being 17 games, it's still valuable. It's still valuable.
Oh, we got it. Oh, okay.
Oh, tater tots.
Hey, tater tots. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe on your way out, okay? And watch all the other shows. Eli's in the Super Chat. Clarence, when can we push the Isaiah Bond to Dallas narrative? Hey, it's draft season, baby. We're about to do it.
Isaiah Bond. They need a receiver first round.
Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
Or else that's not a threat.
We all silly like the mayor.